Alright, welcome back game developers. Today we're going to be creating a realistic flashlight for our realistic true first person character. So hopping straight into the tutorial, if you do not have the character that we already have, our first person blueprint, you might want to look back at the playlist that I've created on my YouTube channel and look at the previous videos to follow along with the tutorial. So firstly, let's open up our BP underscore first person character and let's create a couple things. Firstly, we're going to want to create a spring arm, and as a child of that, we're going to want a spotlight. Great, and then let's go into the viewport so we can see it. So first things first, we're going to want to have no target arm length. We're going to want it to be 0, and we're going to want to use pawn control rotation. That will add a little bit of sway to the flashlight. And let's actually move this because we obviously want it to be in the camera viewport. So let's do about like 15 and then 17. Obviously you can adjust this to whatever you'd like, but I like these, and then 15 and then 25. And that's a good spot to have it for the character's viewport. And let's also adjust some of the light settings. So let's do 800. And for the inner cone, let's do a value like 23.5, looking and referencing my other flashlight. And let's do for the outer cone 31. These values obviously you can adjust, and also you can adjust the light color. So it usually isn't fully completely white. Usually it's a little bit more dull and not exactly. So let's do a little bit less. Let's do 250 and 227. For the blue. Now underneath this, we're going to need to do a couple of different things. So we're going to want to set it to not be visible automatically unless you want your light always on, your flashlight always on in your game. And we're going to need to create a light function material. So let's actually do that right now. Let's go into effects and flashlight, and I've already imported some of the things that I will need, so I will show you exactly what I did do. I imported a flashlight off and on sound effect that you can probably find on I think it was freesounds.org or .com, and I found a flashlight texture. If you're confused where to find one of these, you can go on Google and look up flashlight texture and you'll see something very similar to this. So after that, I created a material. I went M underscore flashlight, and then that's what I have here, and I'll show you exactly what I did. So going into the material, you'll have no node. So it'll be like this with surface, but the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna click on the actual, the result node, and you're gonna wanna change it from surface to light function. And you can save, and you're gonna wanna grab the texture that you found on Google or wherever you had it, bring it in and turn it up to emissive light. After this, you can save, and you can close this. Now you're going to want to go back to your spotlight and your light function material, and we can search for that material we just made. So you can look up M underscore flashlight, compile, and save. And now your flashlight will be working, but we need to change a couple of different things with the actual logic behind it. So let's go into our event graph and let's start working on the logic. We're going to want to create a section where we can have our flashlight. So before we actually do so, we need to set up an input mapping. So let's duplicate one of these input actions like jump, and let's call it IA underscore flashlight. Let's save it, and then go to our input mapping context, and let's create a new mapping, and let's bring our flashlight in, and you can set this to whatever key you would like, but for the case of this tutorial, I'll set it up to F. Save and then close that, and then we can go right back to our event graph like we did previously. And let's set it up. So you can think of flashlights as kind of like on and off switches, which are kind of like flip-flops. So we're gonna be using a flip-flop for this code. So let's go off of started, and let's use a flip-flop. And off of flip-flop, we're going to be wanting to play a sound at location for both A and B. A being on and B being off. So let's play a sound. And let's do flashlight on. And if you don't have any sounds for your flashlight, you don't need to worry about this. But for more realism, obviously that's what we're going for. You'll want a sound at location. So let's do flashlight off. And for the location, let's get the location of the spotlight itself, and let's get world location. Press Q and highlight to make this a little bit more clean. And now let's plug that into location for both of these. And now you know when you turn on a flashlight that it doesn't immediately go on. So to add realism, let's add a little bit of a delay. Probably a little bit less than this actually, probably like 0.15. And then we'll turn the visibility of this spotlight to be on. So let's set visibility to on, and we'll clean this up a little bit to not have spaghetti code everywhere. There we go. And let's grab the visibility down here, except this time it will be no visibility or off. And just for one more layer of solidification, let's add a Boolean variable to see if our flashlight is on or off. So let's do B flashlight, and let's set it to be on here. And let's set it to be off here. And you might think, why do you need this? Your code is already kind of done, but I've been in many circumstances where referencing another thing, I need to see, okay, is the flashlight on? If it is on, it needs to be off for the scene because maybe you're outside or something like that. And so it's just kind of a protective measure to make sure there's no bugs or anything in your game that will mess up maybe your cinematic scene. We're going to want to add a little bit of camera rotation lag, and that will make it even more realistic to how it actually moves in real life. So let's also adjust the rotation lag speed. You can make this whatever you'd like, and you can tinker with this, but for this tutorial I have found that 12 looks pretty good. So let's compile and let's save. And this is what games like Resident Evil do. They add like a little bit of delay, so like you can see, like I move it and it like takes a second to get there. And this is something that a lot of AAA games, horror games, they do. And it works pretty well. So yeah, I hope you guys like this flashlight component. And you guys can obviously change a couple different things with this: the sound, how big you want it to be, the inner cone, the outer cone, the brightness and the texture, everything like that. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys later.